After spending 10 weeks, we have come down to the last perception of the Girimananda Sutta. Today will be the last perception that we are going to discuss, and then next week will be the review, full review about the Girimananda Sutta. For the full review, I'll be over there in presence for the full review next Monday at the same time. So, as Sister Ing mentioned, we'll be posting a message where you will repost with your questions. Perhaps you can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And when you repost, please copy the latest questions. Otherwise, some they copy the earlier one, maybe which has only 2 questions. Perhaps questions were there like 4 questions. And you copy the latest repost by somebody in the group. So 4 to 5. If you are uncomfortable with this, if it is inconvenient, you can send the questions to Sister Ing privately. So then we can have it that way. So maybe then after that we can have a Word document, or maybe we can have a PowerPoint PPT document. So we can spotlight that on that day, which is pretty easy. Everybody can see from the screen the questions, and I'll be answering the questions. Can roughly go for 15 to 20 questions, and then we will take the questions from the audience in person about Girimananda Sutta. Okay, so the last perception is Anapanasati. Anapanasati is not a new word for all of you, right? But there is a problem. It was not taken as a sanya here, right? You can see anicca sanya, anatta sanya, asubha sanya, adinava sanya, right? But when it comes to the 10th sanya, I mean, it is not a sanya, it is just anapanasati. Why it is a sati but not a sanya? It's a question. I leave it up to you to think about it. We are discussing that too. And we understand Anapanasati is one of the exercises in the Satipatthana Sutta, right? It is one exercise. And when you learn Satipatthana Sutta, there are 2 Satipatthana Suttas. What are they? Satipatthana Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya and Satipatthana Sutta in the Digha Nikaya. What is the difference between these 2 Satipatthana Suttas? Majjhima Nikaya Satipatthana Sutta compared to the Digha Nikaya Satipatthana Sutta. Digha Nikaya Satipatthana Suttas, Dhammanupassana, the last Satipatthana, is more comprehensive, more explained, detailed than the Majjhima Nikaya's Satipatthana Sutta. And then are only these 2 Satipatthana Suttas talking about Satipatthana? Are there any other Satipatthana Suttas in the Sutta Pitaka? There are. There's a whole section under the Satipatthana, what do you call it? Samyutta Nikayas. We call it Satipatthana Samyutta. There are almost 100 suttas that go by Satipatthana Sutta, right? So that's why when you want to learn Satipatthana, you need to read, you need to learn Samyutta Nikayas, Satipatthana Suttas as well, while you understand Digha Nikaya and Majjhima Nikaya. Anyways, for a newcomer, for somebody who has no proper reading about these Satipatthana Suttas, might think I have to read Satipatthana Sutta. Well, here what we are doing is we are giving you the insights, the summary of all these suttas, so you don't have to worry about it. But if you have more time, you can go read it. There's no harm to read it. But the most important thing is to read the necessary areas of the sutta. That's about Satipatthana. Why I mentioned about Satipatthana? It's because Anapanasati comes from Satipatthana Sutta's explanations. Let me ask you, now we discuss about changeability, which you normally understand as anicca sanya. Then we discuss about not self, anatta sanya. We discuss about 31 body parts of the body, 31 body parts of our aggregate body. Then we discuss about what do you call 49 health problems, right? Ear problem, eye problem, right? 49 almost. And then we discuss about how to practice overcoming. But why the sannyas end up with Anapanasati? What is Anapanasati? Anapan, that means breathing in and breathing out. How is breathing in and breathing out become a meditation? That's a good question, right? Why are we going to do that? Because we are doing it all the time. How is it becoming a meditation? Under the Satipatthanas. What is the reason why the Buddha asks us to practice breath in a certain way to practice more into the kusala activities? How does the kusala part happen with regard to breathing in and breathing out? What is the connection of breathing to the kusala activities? That is the important thing with regard to the Anapanasati. Now we are naturally breathing in and out. But when we watch our breaths, how do we watch our breaths? Will the breaths stop for a while for us to watch them? Or breaths are happening all the time? Whether you want to watch or whether you don't want to watch, they are happening all the time. Whether you sleep, whether you talk, whether you walk, whether you are here, they are happening. Can we watch all our breaths? Impossible, right? It's not going to work out. Then, what's happening? What are we supposed to do with regard to this natural breaths, actually? What is the connection between breathing and kusala activities, creating more kusalas? This is the reason. The reason is that the more we refine our breaths, our in-breaths and out-breaths, the calmer we are. Refining breaths is what is supposed to happen with regard to the breathing Anapanasati. How to refine our breaths? Now think about the moments that we have coarse breath, heavy breaths, puffing. Perhaps we feel something not good with regard to a certain situation. Today, maybe another day, maybe our past, maybe somebody who we love all the time, affectionate things, society, politics, right? We can notice different variances with regard to the breaths. So, the Buddha is asking us to refine our breaths. How to refine our breaths? It is by calming the breath. How to calm the breath? It is by watching three things with regard to the breath. Arising part of the breath, staying present part of the breath, and then passing away or going away part of the breath. Then the first thing that we need to understand, if we are looking at arising, staying, and going away parts, mean breath is a good thing to learn about anicca. Why? I was having a breath earlier. Now the breath is happening, was happening for a second ago, and then breath went away. So if breath is permanent, breath should not have gone away like that. So the first thing with regard to the breath is, it clearly gives us a good understanding about anicca. But are we supposed to be very much worried about it? No, there is a new breath coming up, right? long, short, or mixed, another breath is coming out. Right? So it's happening all the way. So the purpose of the breath meditation, Anapanasati, is to calm our breath. Why it is important to calm our breath? It is because every time when we go through akusala states, what are the main akusala states? Akusala states with regard to lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hatred, delusion, and all the other akusalas, such as you might call it ditti, wrong view, mana, measuring, comparing to other people all the time in a negative way, then jealousy, frustration, disappointments, right? All these are different areas of lobha, dosa, moha. So every time when we are going through a mental state with regard to the lobha, greed, there are indications given by the breath. What are the indications? Say, for instance, you are running into an argument with somebody about the politics. Right? You perhaps be a liberal person or a very conservative person. Right? Think about the two political binary in every country, anywhere in the world. Too much liberal people, leftists and right-wing parties. Right? And then you want to justify the politician, maybe a certain career politician who has been working towards the country's benefit, also somebody who has corrupted already. And then you are sectionalizing that person's activity, and then the other person is not agreeing to that idea. I think this guy is a very corrupted person, messed up in the country. Right? So the idea here is that then you might not like this idea. Somebody is not accepting your own view. Perhaps it's a good view for you. Perhaps you think it is the right way to look at your country, maybe another country, maybe the global political view, maybe the social view, global economic view. Right? So then, the moment you don't feel good about what other person is and how other person is reacting to you, then what will happen? One of the extensions of your lobha is going to take you over. What is it? Ditti is going to take you over. What is ditti? Wrong view is going to take you over. Now, how does wrong view take you over? Where does wrong view come from? Where does ditti come from? Tell me. I think we discussed that already, long time ago. Not long time ago. Sometime. Where does view come from? Now I tell you, lobha, dosa, moha are the root akusalas. Proto-akusalas. I mean, they are the fundamental layer of the akusalas. Then ditti must come from one of them. It should either come from lobha, it should either come from dosa or moha. Where does ditti come from? This is a question. Where does the wrong view come from? It comes from lobha. Why? When I have greed, it is not I only have greed for what I have, what other people have, what I eat, what I want to eat, what I want to see, what I have been seeing. It is also the greed that I have for my own socio-economic, political, religious views. I want to carry them. So that means every time people are creating a certain view towards something in a very excessive, very rigorous way, they are creating an extension of the lobha. That means greed. Next time if somebody asks you, where does ditti come from, wrong view come from, or miccha ditti come from, or different views come from, they come from lobha. Then tell me, then where does samma ditti come from? Right? If the wrong view come from lobha, then where does Sammaditya come from? Right view come from? Does it come like randomly, abruptly, like a magical thing? No. It should come from the dharma, the generosity, the generous thought. Generous thought paves the way, leads someone to come up with samadhi. That's why people are asking you, why people are going to Vihara and giving dana every day? Huh? What is dana doing to these people? I think you are never learning dhamma. You only practice dana. Now I tell you, this is the connection. Maybe they don't know what they are doing. They are maybe driven by what other people do, go to the Vihara and give dana. Give dana to Pindapata monks and monks in the temple. If you look at it, right view arises from dana. Wrong view arises from lobha. Okay. Now you can see this way. Now we're going back to the breath, the importance of breath meditation, Anapanasati. Now, every time when you don't like what is happening, when someone is being critical about what you believe, what you think, when someone is doing things that you don't like, then you feel you are creating a certain resistance to that person's activity and you are driven by the lobha. Then can you see your lobha? Can you feel that you have lobha at that moment? Have you ever gone through certain changes with regard to your breaths when things don't happen the way you want? You feel like your breath, you are having a heavy breath. You feel you want to talk a lot, you lose your voice. Has that happened to you? In an attempt to justify your position about something, to tell somebody, has that happened to you? It might have happened to you, definitely. So that means the Buddha says every akusala activity or arrival of any akusala activity can be seen through the changes in the breath. That's why breath meditation is very important. That means you may do a breath meditation in the morning or once a week, but then every time as a practice of that breath meditation, you feel my breaths are not happening in a good way now. That means I am coming up with akusala. This is one very interesting thing. Now somebody might ask, what about blood pressure? Right? I feel like my hand is like throbbing all the time, and then I feel like I'm going to faint. That's a different thing. Definitely. It's a different health problem. But normally, when the akusala is coming to us, it can indicate through the breath. And also kusala, arrival of any kusala state. Can you see the arrival of any kusala state with your breath? Yes. Let's say when you are very calm, when the dana thought really hit you, when the loving kindness really hit you, when the karuna, metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha, brahma viharas really hit you, you feel you are so calm within. And that peace of mind, that clarity, that peace cannot be attained through anything. So that means you have calmed your breath to a very interesting level. So this is why breath meditation, which is called Anapanasati, is the cornerstone, the summum bonum, the most important practice across every meditation in the Buddhist tradition, every activity, every anusati in the Buddhist practice. That means whatever the Dhamma activity you are going to pick up, you will end up with breath. Maybe you will start with breath. Maybe you will walk over to the breath somewhere in that meditation. Why? Breath is where you see the changes in your kusala activities or akusala activities. I mean, from kusala to akusala, akusala to kusala, or kusala to kusala, akusala to akusala. Whatever those changes from akusala to akusala, you can see. I feel I'm almost going to become angry. On the way to become angry. How can I know? I feel things are happening. I breathe in a different way now. What about kusala to kusala? I feel I'm becoming happier and happier from some time onwards. My breaths are so calm, right? So in this way, you can see all your kusala akusala dynamics through properly observing your breath. So what you are supposed to do is try to refine your breath. That means try to calm your breath. Okay, now let's go to the sutta now and then take a look how it was given by the Buddha here. Anguttara Nikaya is 10.60, Girimananda Sutta, and we are going down to the last. Katamachananda Anapanasati. Idhananda Bhikkhu Aranyagatuva Rukkamulagatuva Sunyagatuva Nisidati Pallankam Abhujitva Ujunkayam Anidaya Parimukam Satim Upattapin. I think this part has to be emphasized. Now, do we have to follow a certain procedure, certain physical procedure to practice breath meditation? Or can you practice breath meditation while you are driving, while you are walking? Not necessarily. Normally, breath meditation has to be done when you properly sit down, because there is certain procedure you may do. But keep in mind, although it is formally done by sitting somewhere as such, given in these suttas, but the ripple effect of the official breath meditation, formal breath meditation practice has to work with you while you are not sitting down. Now, say for instance, you are on the way to become jealous and you are noticing something. Perhaps you see someone, maybe one of your friends, doing better than you. And now what's happening? You are going to separate from that person's success. This is what's happening to people who are becoming jealous. I don't want to become a part of your happiness. I'm separating from your success. So I have to be jealous about what you are. Your beauty, your money, your education, your happiness, your family member, your wife, your husband, your peace of mind that I see. I think I don't have that. So that means the person who is on the way to becoming jealous has been separating from the shared happiness of the other person. Right? Every time when you separate from other people's success, you are a jealous person. You are an envious person. Right? Now, think about these moments are happening to everybody. I'm not saying that we are all ideal superhuman beings all the time, whether we learn or not. That means we have to do a certain part with regard to all these akusalas. Akusalas are coming to all of us. So don't be very happy that you are learning every Monday. Okay? Because when the akusala hits you, akusala will hit you just like any other person. So then, the moment you are on the way to become jealous, you can feel certain changes in your breath. You are not normal. You feel you are breathing a lot, heavy breaths. Perhaps if it is too bad, puffing. It is too bad you can't even talk. Maybe you start criticizing that person. You start slandering that person. You start gossiping with other people about that person's success. So you are displaying your frustration, disappointment through whatever your body, speech, mind activities. Now, what I'm asking you is that when that is happening, try to look at what's happening with your breath, not what's coming to your mind. Try to take a moment of time, sit down and witness, observe what's happening to me. I think I'm not good. I'm going on a slippery slope. I'm not going on the path that I'm supposed to be. So tell yourself, try to find out the nature of your breath. You will exactly find out this is really unusual. This is not the real way of my calm breaths. That means you can notice your akusala journey, even the start of akusala journey, even the existence of akusala journey through the changes with regard to your breath. What about a kusala experience? Think about a kusala experience, such as you want to practice metta to someone, right? Maybe you wake up in the morning and then you do a little bit of breath meditation, few minutes. Now you want to shift it to the metta meditation. The moment you are doing metta, you are not separating from anybody. You are becoming a part of every human sentient being. And when you are becoming a part of sentient beings, then you feel so happy. You are not maintaining any uh, negativity with regard to your past, and then for the present moment, and then for the future. And then you can see those moments are really reflective about very much calm breaths that you are having. Okay, so I think it's a very it's a background knowledge about what breath means. And now let's look at the formal procedure of how to practice breath. I was trying to say that although we formally practice breath meditation by sitting down, but the ripple effect, the daily activities are not exempt from them. So we have to bring a certain understanding from that formal breath meditation to what's happening to me while I'm doing anything in my daily life. The first thing the Buddha asks us is Aranyagatowa, Rukamulagatowa, Sunyagaragatowa, depends on the place where you are. Nisidati, sit down. Pallankam abhujitva. Okay, Pallankam abhujitva, you can see here, cross-legged. Okay. Now this depends. We don't see the culture of sitting down on a chair or seat at that time. Perhaps that was the culture at that time. That doesn't mean that everybody who wants to practice breath meditation must sit down on the floor. But at that time, this was the commonplace. So sitting down, cross-legged, and then ujung kayam panidhai. Panidhai means keeping. Kayam means body. Ujung. Ujung means straight, keeping your back upright. How easy to keep our back upright in our normal life? Is it an easy thing to keep our back upright? Right? This is not only something for a law enforcement person, the police, fire crews, or maybe any other fitness workers to keep the back upright all the time. It's very interesting, very important to keep the back upright, just to maintain the blood flow and then help someone to what you call watch one's breath. Right? That doesn't mean someone who is already old, who is already hunchback, cannot have any opportunity to practice in this meditation. But it's better if it is possible to do as such, keeping the back upright. And then parimukhang. Parimukhang sating upattapitva. This is a very debatable word. Maybe this word has been put to debate by many scholars, even some Sangha members. What does parimukham mean? Now, like when you learn breath meditation from different teachers, they are talking very different things, right? Now, if you learn from one teacher might tell you, watch the nostril or watch your lips. Even some teachers go as far as the tummy, contraction of the tummy. Right? So, did the Buddha ask followers to watch nostrils or lips or tummy? Where were they mentioned? This idea, the nostrils and then the lips, come from the Pali commentaries, not in the main text about the breath meditation. The main Buddha's precise words are only talking Parimukkhang Sati, you should not locate your breath in the body. Why? Breath cannot be located. And you shouldn't locate. Why is it? If you locate your breath somewhere, you are creating a certain clinging towards that particular area of the body. But why people are happy to watch a certain part of the body with regard to the breath? They might think it's easy for them to do it. It's like some people asking me, when I do walking meditation, can I count? I said, yeah, you might be a newcomer, right? Newbie. Okay, go for it. You can do the maths. But the problem is next time when you do the walking meditation, you will still do 1, 2, 3. Then you will cling to the numbers. And you can't do with the numbers, this walking meditation. But you might feel it's better if I walk from this wall to the other wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go to the other wall. Okay, I think I did that part well. I was not distracted. You may start if you think if it is the way you may start. But in the true walking meditation, you don't have to count. Don't count. Then every time you want to do walking meditation, where are the numbers? Where is 8? Where is 9 step? Where is 7 step? Where is the 4th step? Your walking is stuck to the numbers. In the same way, some people start this with the breath meditation also. First breath go up and down, second breath, then you stuck to the numbers. So that's why the Buddha said, never localize your breath. You can't localize your breath because Vayo Dhatu spreads everywhere. And you won't see that in any Pali Sutta. So what you need to do here is that Buddha clearly asks us where to focus in the breath meditation. Where to focus? Parimukkhang. Mukhang means, what is meant by mukhang in Pali? This Pali word? This is a Pali word, you can see. Parimukhang. Mukhang. Mukhang means face. Pari, the whole face. Then if somebody is asking you to watch your nostrils, I think that is a very partial translation about this. Mukha means the whole face. That means when you practice the breath meditation, the Buddha asks us to focus on the whole face because the breath is not only touching your nostrils or your lips, the whole face, the wind element comes to you. You feel your cheeks, you feel your eyes, perhaps it might feel your forehead. So the overall face area is Parimukhang. So Parimukhang Sating Upattapetva. That means your mindfulness that is coming from the breath meditation should mainly focusing on the face area. Parimukhang, the whole overall face area. Now, what's happening? Sating Upattapetva. Now, the Buddha is talking 4 areas that one may go to practice breath meditation. I want to tell you that in the Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha does not talk about the 4 tetrads. Because breath meditation must be practiced through 4 tetrads if somebody is very serious about the breath meditation. But it doesn't mean everybody has to be serious about it. You can do a very basic breath meditation, watching, rising, staying, and going. It's enough. But there are people who want to try on breath meditation a little bit seriously. Then they are going to follow the 4 tetrads. That means they are going to follow 4 areas in 16 stages. Tetrad means 4 steps. So 4 steps are regarding 1 Satipatthana, 2nd Satipatthana, 3rd Satipatthana, 4th Satipatthana. Now, Girimananda Sutta clearly tells us that if there is only one meditation in the Satipatthana that you can practice to work on all the Satipatthanas is Anapanasati. Now think about Vedananupassana. Right? Vedananupassana meditation exercises are only for Vedananupassana. Chittanupassana. Any meditation with regard to the thoughts that are only for the Chittanupasana. Think about the walking meditation. Walking meditation is only for the Kayanupasana. But breath meditation covers all the Satipatthanas. So that's why it is an integrated practice, meditation practice with regard to all the Satipatthana, covers all Satipatthanas. So that's why Girimananda Sutta also talks about 16 steps in practicing breath meditation, where you don't see it in the Satipatthana Suttas. And there is another sutta that talks about 16 steps with regard to breath meditation. That is the most important sutta about breath meditation. It's called Anapanasati Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. All these are background knowledge to understand. Now let's look at how was it given under the 16 steps in the Girimananda Sutta. You can see here. Okay, long breath, short breath, then calming down the breath. So we will take the the note at this point just to make it a little bit clear. Otherwise, there are lots of Pali words. Then we will understand that properly. Okay. Day 73, understanding Anapanasati, through the Girimananda Sutta, which is the last sanya. Why is Anapanasati considered the 10th perception? Anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing in and out, is explicitly listed as one of the 10 perceptions in the Girimananda Sutta. However, it serves as a fundamental practice that supports and deepens the development of these 10 perceptions. And as a universal meditation object, the breath meditation aligns with and enhances each perception, providing a direct path to insight and liberation. Now, if you go back to all the perceptions, you can practice all these previous 9 perceptions with breath meditation. If you know how to practice breath meditation, you can easily practice Anicca Sanya, Anatta Sanya, Asubha Sanya, Adinava Sanya, and the rest of the Sanyas. Because the moment you practice breath meditation, you can understand these Sanyas better. So that means breath meditation, someone who knows how to practice breath meditation can easily put these Sanyas into practice. Because you become calm and you have the most important practice to work on the Sanya practice given in the Girimananda Sutta. Interestingly, the description of Anapanasati in the Girimananda Sutta closely mirrors its exposition in the Anapanasati, which I just now told, MN 118. This suggests that its role in 1060, which means Girimananda Sutta, extends beyond the simple contemplation of breath. Unlike the more general approach to breath meditation found in the Satipatthana Suttas, MN 10 and DN 22, here it is presented as an integrative practice that consolidates and elevates the preceding perception. Now, we understand that Satipatthana Sutta's version about Anapanasati is a basic explanation. But Girimananda Sutta and Anapanasati Sutta talk about breath in a very deep, very serious way, giving us 16 steps, which we see here in a moment of time. And the placement of Anapanasati as the final perception, although Anapanasati does not say as a perception, but it is the perception as the final perception. Breath meditation is the focal point of many meditative disciplines, including the Satipatthana, because it cultivates sustained awareness and insight into the changing, unsatisfactory, and not self nature of existence. By anchoring the mind to the breath, one gains clarity needed to internalize the truths revealed by the 10 perceptions, ultimately leading to deeper wisdom and liberation. Okay, once again, breath meditation helps us to understand everything, not even perception. So, if you can, actually, now, even in the normal society, when people are having a discussion about anger management, and when you ask people, how do you manage your anger? What could be a very popular answer that many people will give you? What could be an easy way to manage angry thoughts? They will, most of them who have a particular understanding about one's own anger or negativity would tell you, I normally take a deep breath and reflect myself what's happening. So, what is this deep breath? That means most people understand, even in the popular culture, forget about the breath meditation. Even when we take a deep breath, we can make a pause to that negative moment. So that means, what about Dhamma knowledge? You may ask the question, I know a lot of Dhamma, but still I'm getting angry. What can I do? Like when you are angry already, can you practice metta? Metta should have been practiced earlier. Now you are angry. At that point, it's better to understand and recognize you are angry, accept your anger. How to accept that anger? Take a deep breath and then break that cycle of breaths that are part of the akusala experience. You are breaking it. Taking a deep breath will help you to break that chain of akusala process. And then when you take a deep breath, you understand, I think I'm not good. I'm not supposed to be like this. At that point, you further investigate what happened to me. Maybe I take another deep breath to calm myself. I have to break it. If I don't break it, I will have ended up in a very terrible situation. So this clearly means even an exaggerated, forceful breath helps us to become better people in the crisis. When we are in the crisis, Dhamma will not perhaps digest us in that particular moment, because Dhamma should have helped us before that moment. So maybe a very quick way to calm us, a very quick way to stop that system of akusala experience will be taking a deep breath, right? So that means even taking deep breaths can help us. What about when you watch your breaths with an awareness? What benefit will that bring you? So that's what we've been discussing over here. Now we are discussing how does Girimananda Sutta talks about uh, Anapanasati. First, Kayanupassana part, first track, you can see 4 parts. Second, feeling part, Vedananupassana part, it has 4 as well. Third, Chittanupassana part, it has another 4. Finally, Dhammanupassana part, it has another. Okay. Now you may have a question here. What is the question? Does it mean that watching breaths must happen? Then when I think about these 16 stages, do I have to shift my breath into this? No. You have to keep the watching breath on the side and then pay attention to these things. So watching breath is happening in the loop, but at the same time, you are paying attention to these 16 steps one by one. That means you don't need to break it. Watching breath has to go. That's the main activity. But while doing that, you are creating another 16 situations. Starting with the first one. That means you are starting here. Contemplation of the body, which we understand, Kayanupassana. So this tetrad, or the first 4 steps, focus on bodily awareness and calming bodily formations. So where do we start our meditation? Are we starting it from mind or thoughts or Dhamma things, or from our body? From the body, right? That's why Kayanupassana. First is long breath awareness. Second is short breath awareness. Third is as a consequence of the long short breath awareness, you may experience the whole body. We normally call it scan the body and then calm your bodily formations. So we have two bodily formations. We call them as in breath and out breath. They are the bodily formations. Okay. Breathing in long, you understand, you breathe in long. Breathe in short, you understand, you breathe in short. Do we understand this in our normal life? We don't mind about what kind of breaths are happening sometimes. But in the meditation, if you notice a long breath is happening, you are taking it as a long breath. And when a short breath is happening, you are taking it as a short breath. Why do we have to look at the certain measurements of the breath? What does it give us? If you are not unhealthy, you may look at the variances of the breath with regard to kusala akusala experiences once again. That's why sometimes when you have a perhaps different kusala experience or an akusala experience, you may go through a long breath or a short breath. And then, while you are doing that, at the same time, you may scan the body, experience the whole body, expanding awareness beyond the breath into the entire body. Now, this will tell us a very important thing. Remember, I told you, don't localize your breath. Right? I told you with regard to parimukha. Now, what does it say? Don't focus breath only on a certain place. Now, you start with the mukhang area, but then you are supposed to watch breath experience across the body. That means you are watching the whole Vayu Dhatu, air element. Air element is not only with your nostrils, not with your lips, not with your, tummy, stomach, not with other places only. So then you are going to bring your awareness to all the parts of your body with regard to breath, but don't localize one particular place. We call it Sabbakaya Patisangvedi. And finally, what's happening, what you are doing is that when you are bringing your awareness, the mindfulness or awareness through the breath to the entire body, you are going to relax your in-breath and out-breath. That means your breaths are calm. They are going to be calm. Normally, you understand when you practice breath meditation, there is a moment of your breath meditation. The meditator will feel. The meditator does not feel that the meditator is breathing anymore. Actually, the meditator is breathing. But meditator does not feel that he or she is breathing. Why? The meditator has calmed oneself in a very interesting way. But until that moment, we all of us, we feel that we are breathing. So when the real breath meditation is happening in the proper way, meditator will feel that I don't breathe anymore. But I'm breathing. But the meditator does not feel it. That's a very good indication that meditation is going to work well. It's happening really nicely. But some people might think, okay, I have come to a certain enlightenment at that point. No, you should not think that. You have to keep going. It's a successful, a progressive level, but you have to keep going. Okay, so this is the first part in the breath meditation. So Anapanasati. So you are primarily calming down your in-breath and out-breath. We call it. You are calming your Kaya Sankhara. That means Kaya Sankhara means in-breath and out-breath. Okay. Goal. cultivating awareness, mindfulness, and relaxation in the body through breath awareness. How important is it to calm our body before touching our mind, especially feelings and then thoughts and then the thought? A lot of people think that, especially this is a misunderstanding. When people want to meditate, they really want to work with their akusalas, kilesas in the first place. But it is not the way how Buddha asks us to practice. Buddha asks us to calm our body first. Right? Without calming our body, you may not be able to see your akusalas, your kilesas. So it's very important to calm your body first. Calm your body first means calm your in-breath and out-breath. We call them in Pali as Kaya Sankara. Kaya Sankara must be calmed down through watching them. Then, we are now, the person meditator is going to the second tetrad, 4 stages. It's about Vedana, feelings. Focus on experiencing and transforming feelings. Do we have to transform our feelings? What are the basic feelings do we have? We have 3 types of feelings. What are they? Sukha, Dukkha, and Adukka Masukha. Happy feeling, unhappy feeling, and mixed feeling. Mixed feeling means you are not saying that you are either happy or unhappy. Okay? You can say, I'm okay, right? There is no particular happy feeling or an unhappy feeling. Rather, you are saying, I'm okay. So, in the suttas, feeling has been explained in many ways. Sometimes feeling has been explained as 9 ways. Now, in the Satipatthana Sutta, feeling has been explained as 9 ways. Some other suttas more than 9. Some suttas only 2, happy and unhappy, Sukha, Dukkha. In the Abhidhamma, feeling has been explained as 108 ways. Whatever the ways, we understand basic Sukha, Dukkha, Adukka, Masukha context. Now, once our body is calm by practicing breath, then immediately we are going to work on our feelings. Are we yet going to work on our thoughts? Or is it going to work on after the feelings? Feelings. After the body, then feelings. We have to calm our feelings. How to do it? You can see, Piti Patisangvedi Asasissami Sikkami. Joy arises as concentration deepens. Piti means, you can say joy or rapture. And then, after that, second stage in that tetrad is happiness, Sukha. Sukha Patisangvedi. So joy is followed by happiness. Okay. Now you understand that your feelings are the most important part after you calm your body. Then you are going to calm your feelings. Right? So now as you are progressing from calming your bodily formations, kaya sankharas, then you are going to work on your feelings. First thing that will happen to you is you will feel a joy. What kind of joy is that? It's a joy that comes from your concentration. Do we have lots of joys in our life? Different joys? Yes, we do, right? Not a lot of those joys come from concentration. Maybe those joys come from our certain plans, even some bucket lists, certain dreams. But this joy comes from only concentrating your body. Bodily formation. That's why you are now joyful at that point. That joy brings you to happiness. What happiness? Happiness of calming your body. Normally, our happiness that we are labeling is a certain conceptualized happiness. Right? Our happiness is mostly conceptualized. It's not coming from the concentration for the most part. Think about a conceptualized happiness. Now I'm in this age, I have to work on this, and I have to hit this sales target. I have to be like this. Then I'm happy. If I'm not like that, I think I'm unhappy. My people should be like this. It shouldn't be like that. So we are conceptualizing our own happiness in our own way. So then this is not sukha here. You don't you don't feel sukha patisangvedi uh, in that. Also, your sukha is a certain conceptualized way of looking at it. So that's why sukha with regard to the breath meditation is very different from the conceptualized happiness that we are having. I'm not saying that conceptualized happiness is bad, but this happiness has a way better effect on our happiness, our happy mood, our positivity. So, as a consequence of practicing Kaya Anupasana, it means calming your bodily formations, Kaya Sankharas, you are jovious, joyful, and then you are happy. Now, what is going to happen? Pretty interesting. Then you are going to work on Chitta Sankhara. Now, here you work on Kaya Sankhara. Now, in the Vedana part, Chitta Sankhara. You experience mental formations, and then you are going to, in the next state, you are going to calm them as well. So, you are going to feel your mental formations at this point in the third step in the Vedananupasana. What are the mental formations? You cannot see it here. Mental formations are, there are two. One is Sanya, other one being Vedana. Understand that Vedana cannot arise without Sanya. Why? I must have a certain reference to my Vedana. Now think about someone is all of a sudden very sad, asking, "What's wrong with you?" Suddenly I'm sad. What happened to you? I don't want to share with you. Maybe if you are forced to ask as such, you are saying, I think about my somebody who passed away sometime, a good memory. Something maybe my life that was very challenging sometime. Maybe about my family situations. But I know I'm okay now. But at that time, it was a very tough time. It was a very challenging time for me. So then how does that person feel it? Through the sanya. Sanya means that perception, that memory. Sanya means memory. That memory brings it. Right? Once the memory brings it, Vedana comes up very fast. Right? It's like someone who is going to cry and you are going to pinch that person. Then crying becomes faster. Right? You're already going to cry. You just want to pinch that person. And then crying earlier than supposed to cry. So Vedana, Sanya work together. They are a pair. That's why they are part of Chitta Sankhara. Now, when you work with the what you call Vedananupasana, you are now experiencing what kind of memories I'm going through. Now, what is the meaning then? When you come to the Vedananupasana, in the third level of Vedananupasana, you will understand all the sannyas in the Girimananda Sutta. That means if you really want to understand 10 sannyas, you must come to the Vedananupasana's third stage, because that is the moment you understand your perceptions very well. And also the certain sensations and feelings that you are creating, developing for them. Now what's happening? If you are a good meditator, you are not just observing them. You're going to do something for them. What you going to do? Passang bhayang chitta sankhara. You're going to calm them down. Letting go of agitation, deepening stillness. Now, what are the problems with regard to our sannyas and then the Vedanas? Are our memories always good? Think about your personal life. Think about that you are going to be alone in a room, in your own place. Are more happy memories coming to you, or are more bad memories coming to you when you are alone? Tell me. What is normally happening to you? Suppose you are alone in your place. What is mostly coming to you? Are they mostly negative things or happy things? It depends. So and so. But for the most part, memories, the mind's natural phenomenon, mind's natural inherent nature is mind wants to show us you are imperfect and we are imperfect. Mind doesn't want to be happy. That's the natural nature of the mind, thoughts. So then what? Unless you have a very good Dhamma practice, then you understand the moment mind is telling you that you are imperfect, you bring up the Dhamma knowledge. Who is perfect other than the Buddha? Right? You are bringing a counter thought to that particular perfectionist idea. Right? So I'm trying to tell you, a lot of memories are coming to you when you are in seclusion. Right? When you are in seclusion, a lot of memories are coming to you. Doesn't matter what memories are coming to you, but every time when a memory is coming to you, if you bring wise attention, yoniso manasikara, to look at them, look at your own perceptions, you are good. But if you are not able to bring wise attention to that, they're gonna take a toll on you, definitely. That's why in the Vedananupassana, your focus finally is going to calm your memories so that your Vedana part will be much, much better. You can maintain your Vedana part. Right? So this is called breath meditation up to the Vedananupassana. If you have any questions, please write down. Maybe you can ask today or maybe next Monday. I just want to show you that how these uh, two parts already working with regard to Anapanasati. Now, suppose you are an extraordinary meditator, you want to go further. Okay, let's go for it. And you are going to hit the third, what you call Satipatthana with the breath. You can see here, third tetrad, Chittanupassana. Chittanupassana. Now, breath, you are watching breath on the side in the loop, and then you are paying attention to certain aspects of thoughts at this point, earlier feelings. Even more earlier, it was the body. Now, let's see what's happening. Chitta patisangvedi asasissamiti sikkati. And chitta patisangvedi. Actually, this part has to have pasasissamiti too. That means you are taking the breath, in breath, and pasasissamiti, out breath. So now what's happening when you come to this stage, if you really want to go to that level, you are feeling, you are experiencing actually the different types of thoughts. Actually, are we are we feeling that we are going through different types of thoughts, or are we driven by, are we becoming those thoughts right away? Do we have a buffer? Do we have a buffer to understand this is the thought that is happening now in my thought? Oh, I have a choice to make it. I have a choice to change, modify my thought. Oh, I have a natural tendency to let it go on the spot outrightly. Most people become the thought, not that they make a choice to make it in a different way. That's why here, when the meditator goes to the Chittanupassana level, meditator experiences the arising of thoughts, and meditator understands different thoughts are happening in my mind. If you are not the meditator, then you will become the thought. Then you think that you are the thought, right? It's like the same thing that I always tell when somebody comes to the meditation retreat. at the end of the meditation retreat, asking the question, how much meditation have you done today? Counting the interval time, morning to evening, okay, morning to maybe 1 hour, then 2 hours, and here and there, maybe probably another 45 minutes, perhaps 5 hours. Okay, then another day, perhaps 6, 7 hours altogether. How are you going leaving the retreat now? I'm asking. See, I leave the retreat by thinking that I meditated a lot this week. Really? So you haven't become the meditation then. That's why you are bringing the meditation back home. That means at the end of the meditation retreat, you must have become the meditation, not the meditator. It means meditator. You came to meditate as a meditator, finally you become the meditation. You came to observe something and you became the observation. That is because if you separate yourself from this understanding, you will feel, I am the meditator, there is the meditation. I am the observer, there is the observation. No, finally, don't separate yourself. There's no duality. It's like mind and body. Right? Now, when people don't understand mind and body, what are they saying? Mind is something, body is something. You have to work separately. How to work separately? Mind cannot live without the body, body cannot live without the mind. Aren't they? Mind cannot live without the body, body cannot live without the mind. Then if you think that only a meditation can work out your spiritual journey, that is a misunderstanding. Why? That mind is inside the body. That body is inside the mind. So that means we have to equally work with the body and the mind. So we call it non-duality of this life. You can't make it dual. You can't do it. Then you might think, why did the Buddha take it out? Why did the Buddha dissect mind and body? It is because he wants to tell us some information about the mind and body. It's like somebody is trying to teach us, you know what? I know how to remove certain parts of the car engine. Okay, go for it. Show me how you're going to do it. He's going to unscrew certain things in the engine, battery, what do you call, radiator, lights. And then, okay, I understand now. There's an engine, there are wheels, there's a dashboard, there's a windscreen. Okay, now I want to understand that this is a car, not an engine, not four-wheel car. So can you give me the impression this is a car? Okay, then I have to put them back, but I don't know how to put them back. Right? That means synthesis. Buddhism talks about analysis. Take things out and show us, this is Panchakanda, this is 12 ayatanas, this is Parisamuppada, this is Four Noble Truth. But finally what Buddha does is Buddha assembles all these teachings to a common cause. Right? So that's why we cannot take the body out from the mind, mind out from the body. If there is any attempt that you have seen that the Buddha had done it, was to simply tell us to understand mind and body in bit more details. But mind cannot live without the body, body cannot live without the mind. So, in the same way, what we can see here under the Chittanupassana is that you can see the person doesn't need to separate oneself from the experience. The moment that person creates a separation from the activity, the person is creating a certain sakkaya ditthi, and that sakkaya ditthi will become a certain other problem. Okay, now in the first stage, the meditator feels that, okay, akusala, kusala, akusala, kusala thoughts are there. Then what happened? Abhipamodayam chittam. Suppose the meditator is going through kusala thoughts, then there is a certain delight, gladdening happening with regard to the kusala thoughts. And then now when there are kusala thoughts happening, meditator wants to put them together, right? Say for instance, you think about a dana experience, you bring dana to the vihara. Right? Dana is a very interesting kusala where you can create three kusalas together, right? That means all the three kusala roots together. What are they? Alobha, adosa, amoha, dana, metta, and panya together, right? So now at this point, what's happening is that the meditator is going to concentrate on the higher layer of one's kusala thoughts, samadha. Then what happened? Liberating, vimochayam chittang asasisami. Vimochayam means vimochayam. So do we have to release our thoughts? Can we release our thoughts? How to release our thoughts? We can release the akusala thoughts. Say for instance that you are practicing dana, and then in that dana experience, in case you come up with a certain greedy thought, my money, my experience, maybe the way how I wanted to give the dana was not what how I gave, right? Some kind of lobha. Then you understand that lobha part, you want to release it. Next time, I don't want to do dana this way. I want to do in a better way. You want to release your akusala thoughts, vimochya and chitta. It can even go up to nibbana as well one day. So this is called chittanupassana. So someone who wants to really be serious about breath meditation can go to the third tetrad. This has 4 levels. So that means the calmness you've been creating through the breath now going into the nature of your thoughts. The goal is strengthening and purifying the thoughts for deeper insight through breath meditation. Finally, 4th tetrad. Now, this tetrad is definitely about attaining Nibbana, or a state where you are attaining much, much, much higher than body, feelings, and then thoughts. Now, the meditator wants to continue. Meditator wants to go to certain higher concepts in the Buddha teachings. What are they? Anicca, Viraga, Nirodha, Patinissagga. The meanings: Anicca means change, Viraga means fading, Nirodha means cessation. We discussed that already. Patinissagga means letting go. Now, understand that the meditator has been properly practicing breath meditation through calming bodily formations, and then mental formations, and then also understanding one's own thoughts. Then the meditator thinks, now this mind should not be left alone. This mind has to be brought to certain higher Dhamma concepts, such as Anicca, Viraga, Nirodha, Patinissagga. Actually, a meditator does not need to bring mind to all these aspects. Meditator can pick up a very, maybe a fundamental one, like Anicca. Let's see. Aniccanupassi asasisami sikkati. Seeing the breath as constantly changing. Even the breath itself is changing all the time. So then what about my life? What about my meditation? Think about someone sits down to meditate in the morning in a retreat. Oh, now here you are listening to me. How many changes have been happening throughout this hour and a half time? Right? I am not the XYZ person who came to this hall around 8 o'clock when I go around 9:30, 9:35. But do I embrace my new self, myself that I saw at 8 o'clock, and my new self that I can see around 8:30? Am I worried about it? No, we don't have to. Am I supposed to sad about that I'm changing? No, we're not supposed to. If we are really trying to use our time for the things that are we supposed to do with regard to Dhamma, we don't have. So, anicca. Then viraga, contemplating the fading away part. What is fading away part means? We discuss about viraga. Viraga means we discuss in a way that we are trying to cling to certain uh, colorful activities in our life. Colorful means certain obsessions actually. So we are going to reduce clinging to those things. It doesn't mean that you are going to do it at the moment. You have it, you have done it in your life. Then you are going to contemplate one particular event that you have done it. A moment that you have done that fading away in your life. Say, for instance, there was a moment, at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 moments in your life, you were not taken over by lust that much. You understood your obsessions. You understood your infatuations. You understood the what you call strong levels of your desire. Then you stop for a moment. You became a better person at that point. So you are going to bring that particular event, one of those events, into the contemplation. At this point, we call it viraganu pasya. Or you can even bring cessation. We call it nirodha. How to bring cessation? Have we enlightened already to think about cessation? And I told you, cessation can be understood even without being enlightened. How to understand cessation? Emptiness. Mahayana Buddhism talks about sunyata all the time, emptiness. Actually, is everything empty? Yes, finally, anicca, dukkha, anatta, then sunyata. Right? Everything is changing, changeable. Because of that, things are leading to dukkha, and then things are not self, and finally, everything is empty. So, cessation is a general understanding also. It's not even the enlightenment. I mean, it is enlightenment definitely at the end. But there are a lot of moments we can understand cessations in our life. So, somebody wants to think about one of the events that one has gone through that cessation. That is called nirodha. Finally, contemplating letting go, patinissagganupassi, a moment that you experience a deep renunciation. I would call it not even the deep renunciation. I would call it an inner renunciation. This is very interesting. We call it inner renunciation. Put it this way. Inner renunciation means now what is the normal thought that comes to your mind when you think about renunciation now? As lay people, one day we can become a monk or a nun. Not necessarily if you want to become a monk, nun, it's a different thing. But here it means inner renunciation. You may be a lay person. You are a lay person. But you have renounced a lot of things in your lay life, not physically, in your thoughts. Your clicking has been managed, well managed. Your lobha has gone down ever since you learn in Dhamma. Your obsessions have gone down. Addictions have gone down. Craving has gone down. Right? So this is what we call as letting go. So it is more likely an inner renunciation that we all can do, especially lay people. Finally, before we get some questions, although Anapanasati is not explicitly named as the 10 perception, it functions as a comprehensive method for cultivating all 10 perceptions in the Girimananda Sutta. Now we understand that the last perception, although it was not called as Anapanasati Sanya, but Anapanasati is the main practice that one has to do with regard to all the other 9 perceptions. By training in mindfulness of breathing Anapanasati, a meditator directly realizes change, not self, what you call anicca, anatta, and the cessation of dukkha, fulfilling the purpose of these 10 perceptions. In addition, profound healing naturally arises as an integral part of the practicing 10 perceptions taught in the Girimananda Sutta. Okay, now this is the most important thing we've been discussing from the whole sutta, healing. I think we have to finish the sutta. Let's take a look, because then we can directly go into the review. We have time for that. Sutta, finally, what happened at the end? Sache ko twang ananda girimanandasa vipuno imadasa sanya basiyasi. Tanang ko panetang vijjati yang girimanandasa vipuno imadasa sanya sutva so abadu tan so padispasapi. Now Buddha is telling Venerable Ananda, if you were to recite to the Venerable Girimananda these 10 perceptions, it is highly possible that after hearing them, his sickness will die down on the spot. Die down on the spot. So Venerable Girimananda was an unenlightened monk. But the Buddha is saying, when you teach these 10 perceptions by making Anapanasati as the last one, he will cure for sure. Not even after, on the spot. On the spot healing happens through the 10 perception, through understanding 10 perception. Finally, then what happened? Atako ayasma anando bhagavatu santike imadasa sanya uggahitva yenayasma girimanando ten pasankamitva ayasmato girimanandasa ima dasanya abhasa. Then Venerable Ananda, having learned these 10 perceptions from the Buddha himself, went to Girimananda and recited them. And then what happened? Atako ayasmato girimanandasa sanya sutva su abadu tan su paripasa. Uttahitayasma girimanando tamha abada tatapahino smato girimanandasa su abadu apasa. Then after Venerable Girimananda heard these 10 perceptions, through Venerable Ananda, his sickness died down on the spot, in that very moment. And that is how he recovered from that illness. Now, the moral of the sutta is, as suppose we are unenlightened people, if we are unenlightened people, then the more we understand these 10 perceptions, each with regard to Anapanasati, helps us to heal from physical, mental, emotional problems. How can we heal? It is through that understanding of different aspects of this sanya. That understanding helps you to think deeply, think widely, not think in a narrow way about life. So learning 10 sanyas will broaden your perspectives about the life in a Dhamma way. That is where healing arises. All right. Now, we'll be picking up maybe 1 or 2 questions before we transfer the good karmas. Any questions, please come up to the mic and ask a question.
Good evening, Bhante. Wrong view and not wrong view can also occur in akusala. This is my thought. Because I thought that there only understanding will occur in kusala. Need a comment, Bhante?
No, not wrong view cannot come from akusala. Not wrong view means right view.
No wrong view.
Yeah, no wrong view means that person must have had right view already. This must come from right view. No wrong view means right view. We are talking about not the political kind of view. We are talking about not having the 10 views with regard to the right view. If that must have come from, right view. The source. The comparison I made. This is the comparison I made. Let me be clear. What I said was, now there are people who are critical about those people, normal devotees, who are just giving dana only. You are not learning any dhamma. Actually, what they are doing is correct. They might not know what they are doing in the larger, broader dhamma perspective, because the giving dana, that means alobha. Alobha brings right view, the platform for the right view. Because if you look at the 10 right views, you see giving dana, big dana, small dana, taking care of mother, father, they are the right view. So they are connected to our normal dana. On the flip side, other side of the coin is that people who are lobha, who are becoming lobha, greedy for the most part. So the greed paves the way, leads to the wrong view. I don't want to give, why to give? What is happening to me after giving? So that wrong view comes from lobha. So the right view comes from dana. That means generosity. That was the point that I made.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
So even the unconscious giving of dana is also a good thing, because that unconscious dana will be conscious one day by listening to them. Yes.
Kyoto Bhante.
Yes, Sukihotu.
Since there's a Bojjhanga Sutta, why Buddha don't use Bojjhanga Sutta to cure Girimananda, instead creating a new sutta?
Venerable Girimananda was not an enlightened monk. That's why. Girimananda Suttas were, Bojjhanga Suttas were given to enlightened monks.
Only for enlightened monks.
I mean, in those situations, for the enlightened monks. Because Bojjhangas can only be understood properly by the enlightened people. Because their enlightenment is detailed across the 7 Bojjhangas. Venerable Girimananda was an unenlightened monk.
If for enlightened monk, then why are we chanting Bojjhanga Sutta every time when we do?
You have to ask it from the monks who are chanting that. Well, I'm not going to be critical about those chantings. I mean, chanting is chanting, but this is why, I mean, rather picking on anybody, this is why I'm telling you. The reason why I picked up the Girimananda Sutta is that this is for us. This is for the lay people. This is for the unenlightened people. And you know, Bojjhanga Suttas have been a part and parcel of the temple culture during the Vassana time. No matter what. So people go, people feel like they feel blessed, the monks are giving. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But do you understand the information in the Bojjhanga Suttas very well? Tell me, what is Sati Bojjhanga? What is Dhamma Vicaya? Do you have a thorough understanding about them? I don't think so. You may have a very literal understanding, because that is only understood by the ones who already attain Nibbana. Because Bojjhangas are enlightenment factors. So when we listen to that, if there is any healing comes from, that healing must have come from 2 sources. One is the monks' kindness to us. The Sangha members who are giving chanting that, they are giving out of lot of compassion. So I think blessing is coming. On the other hand, you are more blessed. Maybe you have read a little bit about the Bojjhanga. But the actual healing, whether actual healing coming to you or not, is a different fact. You think about it. But when you learn the Girimananda Sutta's 10 perception, you see these are our normal life situations. The moment that we don't understand changes in our life, how much suffering we are going through. We are struggling. We are in conflict with the event. I still don't like what happened because I'm in conflict with the anicca, the anicca concept. But the moment I understand, no, anicca is a part of my life, I'm healed. Right? So, what about anatta? I have been maintaining a very high self, very, very high self. My self is always high up. I'm here, you are there. You know, like people might think that always trying to sectionalize their conceit. But the moment I understand, I even don't exist at a certain higher level, how much apusalas will be thrown at that point, and I'm healed for the most part. So this is why Girimananda Sutta helps us very closely in our healing process. So but it has not been that popular, in this chanting culture. That's a different thing. Perhaps you will chant it in the near future, but this is what's happening.